it is all under ADHD now, with 2 flavors. There is the inattentive type and the hyperactive type. And apparently, I am the inattentive type. So, all of this started with good old classic denial. I had a lot of ADHD symptoms for a long time, and we'll go over specifics later, but have you ever noticed in TVs and movies where ADHD is just like, ooh, a squirrel, ooh, a ladybug, ooh, a piece of candy? Well, that's only on the surface level of ADHD, and unsurprisingly, it is a much more complicated thing than popular media makes it out to be. Big surprise! I thought, I don't do that, and therefore, I don't have any ADHD, but one day, I was watching goofy internet videos, and saw something that was like, this video is very goofy and relatable. Allow me to just look down at what the creator wrote about the video, and possible tags associated with this morsel of entertainment. I don't suspect anything Arby's. This probably doesn't mean anything. This started to happen more and more until I started to ask some serious questions about myself. And I'll tell you how I figured out that I have ADHD. But first, you don't like watching sponsorships. But what if you could watch an entire sponsorship segment in under 1 second? Introducing the All at Once-a-tron. Just get inside and I pull this lever and... So after all of this, these coincidences, it's led me to think and reflect on a lot of things. There were a lot of memories that started to seem like signs more than just memories. Like forgetting to drink water for an entire day might be a sign of something and not just be a goofy little thing that I do sometimes. So I started to read books and watch lectures and learn as much as I could about ADHD. And the more that I did, the more that puzzle pieces started to click. These are things that I did that I thought were normal, but were actually signs of ADHD. Having hundreds of tabs open at a time constantly to a point where 30 gigabytes of RAM is a necessity is something people with ADHD do. Doing a task like locking a door, but seconds later, you aren't totally sure if you locked the door, so you relock it another time or 2. There's this thing I like to do when I'm alone, where I walk in circles for a couple of hours and I talk to myself. Don't judge me, I like it, but also apparently it's an ADHD thing. Reading paragraphs of books over and over, even though I'm very intentionally trying to read it, I have to do it multiple times. It took me ages to finish Hatchet. Ages! And it wasn't even that good. Going to do a task and forgetting what the task was on my way to do it because I'm thinking of something in the meantime. Chronically. Like this happens every day, all day. Like this one time, Kelly wanted some chocolate and I was like, I can get you chocolate. And I went to the kitchen to go get chocolate. But from point A to point B, I just got distracted. And I kind of found myself holding chocolate. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I'm hungry for chocolate. And I eat it. And I get back to the room where Kelly was sitting and she was sad because I was eating her chocolate. I don't know how to explain it other than like, I didn't mean to do that. It just happened. And it happens a lot. Caffeine does not work on me and just makes my heart rate go up. Contacting me is a nightmare and usually takes a couple of messages until I get around to it. Not doing things right up until the deadline. That one's a common one. And the list goes on. So after all of this reflection and learning, I have very strong suspicions that I have ADHD. So I had to get a professional to assess me and look at my brain. Oh God. The assessment included a bunch of questions, but the first part of it included this new test, which I think was called an EKG. They strap a bunch of wires to your head and measure your brain waves. The instructions were to stay still and do not move for 30 minutes. ADHD test. Stay still. 30 minutes.
Don't leave me here. My house. My God. Help me.
You already know the results. I had ADHD, and I felt weirdly relieved. There has been a lot of frustration in my life because despite trying really hard to focus, I could only achieve half as much as other people. So despite still having issues with it, it feels good to know why. I never expected that was going to be a meaningful thing to me, but here we are. Anyway, after my diagnosis, there was talk about medication, and that did not go well, but I'm going to make a second video about that. I have an idea of what I'm going to say, but since we're entering medication territory, I want to try to be a little bit more thoughtful about how I go about the video. So, need a little bit more time. Thank you for your patience about it. I wish you the best, and thank you for watching. Ooh, piece of candy! I don't know if you could tell from my voice right now, but I'm pretty sick. A vile harbinger of disease. Don't worry, it's not COVID. Everything's fine, but if you want to make me feel better, the only thing that'll make me feel better is to smash that subscribe. Being sick has made me think about a lot of things, like what it's like to breathe. I remember when being sick used to be awesome. You would get sick, go to the nurse's office. Parents will pick you up. Your mom will make you soup and you get to watch cartoons or something for the rest of the day. Now, at least for me, getting sick is like, well, I have to work and be sick. Who set up this is a scam. The world should not be this way. There should be a service that's like, when you're sick, somebody comes over and they make you soup and they tuck you in and give you a little kiss on the head and they put on a movie and they say, "You cozy?" You go, "Yeah, I'm cozy." Anyway, the worst time that I've ever gotten sick was probably appendicitis. I already made a video about that though. So the other more recent bad time that I got sick was about a year ago now, when I was starting to feel very tingly in my appendages. And I'm like, that's probably the worst thing possible. Let's Google everything.
It's the worst thing possible.
I knew it. So I made a doctor's appointment and I go into the doctor. I talk to them about my symptoms and all of these things. And they're like, "Is it COVID?" And I'm like, "No, I got many tests." And then they asked me some questions, took my temperature, and then they were like, "I don't know." And I'm like, "Okay, just come back if it gets worse." And I did. And then the next doctor that I see was like, "I don't know." And I'm like, "Okay." And they're like, "Well, let's recommend you to a neurologist because it could be a problem with your brain." And then I go to that doctor and they're like, "Well, I don't know what it is either, but we should scan your skull and spine." And I'm like, "Well, why don't we just start with that? It's been weeks of these symptoms and I'm just sitting here, why don't we start with that?" And so she's like, "Good news, we're not scanning a ton of people right now. We might be able to get you in today." I'm like, "Oh, this is good." She leaves for a little bit. She comes back. She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I totally forgot. We have to." And then she said some word that I totally can't remember, but it's the process that she's like, "We have to do this process." What the process is she has to go to the insurance company and says, "Do we have permission to do this procedure on the patient?" And then the insurance company gives the green thumb. I'm sorry. Why is that real? I could be melting from the inside out, and the insurance company, who's filled with 0% doctors, is going to be like, "Maybe, no." I have to wait an additional week for this stupid process to pass. What the heck? Next time you need help, and for some reason need my help specifically, I'm going to be like, "Oh, I'm going to wait a week for you." Kinda. Sorry, I don't know if you could tell, I'm kind of bitter about it. Anyway, I get approved, and so we move on. So I'm ready to get a scan for my skull and spine. It's inside of an MRI machine. They're like, "Are you claustrophobic?" Maybe a little bit. I guess we'll figure out while I'm in there. They're like, "Okay, cool. This is going to take about 1 hour." And that made me a little nervous because I'm a really restless person. At all times, I have to be moving, whether it be moving my legs, moving my wrists, rubbing my feet together like a little cricket in my bed. I don't know why. I haven't really looked into why that is. And so I was a little bit nervous. But they give you like these little headphones. And then they're like, "Do you like classical music or jazz music?" And I'm like, "Oh, let's do jazz music." And then you go into the tube and it's really, really tight. And it's kind of freaky. But the jazz music actually helps a little bit. I did surprisingly well. We got all the scans done. We only needed to redo one of them because I kind of twitched my head at one point after I was suppressing for so long. And I come out, they say, "Okay, we're going to look at these. We're going to see what's up. And then we're going to tell you." I'm actually like really freaked out because at this point we're thinking, oh, a brain scan, the thing that's the most delicate part of your body. And they have to look at it and see if something's wrong with that. That's kind of freaky. So we wait. And then the results come back. The results were brain scan, unremarkable. Okay, I think technically I understand that that's a good thing, but you didn't have to say it like that. Spine scan, also unremarkable. I came up clean. So what the heck is wrong with me? Turns out we never found out. I spent thousands upon dollars waiting, ultimately to amount to, I don't know what it is. And then eventually the symptoms went away. Great. What's the moral of the story here? I don't know. Thanks for watching. If you could choose any video game item to have in real life for surviving the zombie apocalypse, everyday use, and annexing Toronto, what would you choose? Why was that one so specific? This is a fun question if you like video games. And I like video games, so I went ahead and I asked you about it in the community tab. The portal gun sounds like a good idea for the zombie apocalypse. I would use a hang glider for the Breath of the Wild every day. Wait, what? And I'll go with barrier blocks from Minecraft for the last one. I'm just gonna say this outright. The Breath of the Wild hang glider is probably a really bad one. I'm sorry to break it to you, but it's just kind of worse than a real one. You have to hold on with your hands. You have to have gorilla grip strength to hold on to that. And if you can't, then you die. Have you ever used monkey bars before? Like, think of that, but 5,000 feet in the air. That's not a good idea. I don't know. Maybe you're just built like a brick But from my perspective, I don't think I'd want to do that. The portal gun is very good though. Very useful in a zombie apocalypse. Simply put a portal in any entryway to your base, and then the other end of a portal on a cliff. It's perfect, and there's no flaws with that idea. Yeah, come a little closer. I dare you. See what happens. To annex Toronto, you would use Minecraft barrier blocks, which is a very creative choice, and also a very ambitious one. Definitely Maxwell's Notebook from Scribblenauts. I remember this game. The book that whatever you draw on becomes real. I could see this for anything. Imagine if you had a room to decorate, you could have anything. Do you need like a homemade security system? The options are limitless, really. You want to do this the easy way or the hard way? Yeah, he's not giving up. Take the shot. The gravity gun from Half-Life. It's proven to be effective in apocalyptic situations, that's true, and would be incredibly useful to everyday situations. Have you ever tried to move a mattress? It's the soft thing, but the most annoying thing to move. I could see this being very useful. I don't know how to deal with Toronto with this thing, though. I think I kind of set you guys up with the annexing Toronto question. I just thought it was funny, but it's really a hard question. It's kind of out of our scope, so sorry. I would use the hook shot from Zelda on people's faces. Wait, do you mean like in the zombie apocalypse or daily use? Speaking of video, the Banshee from Halo would help all three scenarios. Fly to and from work, get away from zombies and easily shoot them to protect the base, and same for Toronto. Okay, I don't think we're gonna get away with the Toronto one. But I do really like a Banshee. I would love to have a Banshee. I know exactly what I would do with a Banshee if I get one. Blue shell from Mario to annex Toronto. You can't deny its power. Few have seen this baby fly and live to tell the tale. The tool gun from Gary's mod. I love this. It's basically copy, paste, or delete for real things. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hey, look at me. Look at me. It's okay, everybody. As long as we're inside, he can't get us. Maybe just Kirby. He would eat zombies in an apocalypse, make a good pet in everyday life, and could eat Toronto if he wanted to. Causing destruction with a walking pink ball sounds fun. Kirby isn't an item, thank you, but I love him, so I will accept this answer. Hey, give me that. If you guys missed it, I made some merch and it's in the store. Check it out if you'd like. Thanks for watching. So, you've clicked this video thinking, what's this video gonna be about? And I'm here to tell you it's a completely self-serving merch launch video. I am putting objects of clothing on sale. Look at all the stuff we got in here. Hoodies, shorts, this guy. Please let me go. In your dreams. You can find this merch under this video, or at this website, or any back alley that I'm currently occupying. This is premium stuff. Each article of clothing is individually and intricately summoned from the nightmare dimension, and that's probably not gonna have consequences. I'm open to ideas on future merch if you guys have any ideas, like if you wanted socks, or a garbage can, or more plushies. You can either tell me in the comments, or by tying a strongly worded letter onto a rock and throwing it through my window. So yeah, that'll be there on the store if you want it. In other news, I went to Italy, had pizza, worked on a farm. It was really fun. So I'll make videos about that. And lastly, look at this little man.